Like, well, the first time I met him, he came to the gym when I first got to Denver. He came and rebounded for me for a little bit. I was like, oh, he's a good guy. But I didn't really know too much about him because I didn't ever watch the Nuggets. And he was good. He wasn't as good as he is now. And then we ended up going to training camp, and I'm watching him play, and he's doing all right. But like Mason Plumlee was doing just as good as Joker. And I'm like, wait, so why does Joker start over Mason Plumlee? And then I remember my teammates just saying like, no, like when he wants to, he could score 40 a night. If he didn't just pass and he just wanted to score.
As a center, Nikola Jokic can actually play with slashing wings, movement shooters, and elite ball handlers, and is still the best offensive player on the court. And when he's not an offensive nightmare, the Joker can protect the rim and dominate the glass. Watch him against the Golden State Warriors. After this game, Warriors coach Steve Kerr had to heap praise on Jokic for being an underrated defender.
Tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to ask of Draymond to guard him, the entire time out there. And he's just, such a dominant force in every way. He's so smart defensively, had 4 steals, anticipated a couple of passes that he stole. The pass at the end to Gordon for the dunk, but I think with 2 minutes left I was kind of right behind him. He didn't. I don't even think he saw him. He just knew he would be there. And so Jokic controlled the game. 16 assists. I'm willing to bet they don't lose much, if at all, when he gets 16 assists, because that means everybody else is going to.
But this shouldn't come as a surprise, though, because Steve Kerr had always been a big fan of Nikola Jokic, long before he became an MVP, and even likened him to Arvydas Sabonis.
One of my favorite players to watch in the league, on off nights. When I've got a league pass going, I always make sure I turn to Denver a little bit and watch Jokic and his passing and his brilliance. He just sees the game so well. I always love watching players who just seem to be a move ahead on the chessboard. He's one of those guys. So great young player, and they run everything through him and around him. He's like the pinwheel. He's like the middle of the pinwheel. And you got all these cutters and shooters around him. That's why they're so dynamic.
In any case, fast forward to 7 years after Kerr made this statement, he has become the most dominant player in the NBA. He is so dominant that he scares even the 2022-23 Defensive Player of the Year, Jaren Jackson.
He's doing just about everything out there. Coming off the screen into a post-up. He's coming off a wedge into the post-up, whipping the pass. And then, like, out of nowhere, when you think it's a 3-ball. I'm like, oh my God. They get the arc and you're just like, come on. He don't miss. I haven't seen him miss a shot against us like probably ever.
And they like dagger shots too. Like, God, he made
Off
that.
one leg, he looks crazy in the face. He looks like
No
he's not even
emotion.
trying.
Paul George, who's gone 10-19 against Jokic in his career, including a 3-4 record in the playoffs, describes why it was so hard to stop Jokic when they met.
But he just knows his game. I think he's a player that just knows who he is on that court. And you put a small guy on him, he punishes him. Somebody his size, he uses his smarts and wits.
Karl Anthony Towns, who has a 12-17 record against Jokic, including a 4-2 record in the playoffs, gave his opinion on why the Joker is dominant when he said,
Jokic obviously is a very talented player. I've known him since we was in high school at the Nike Hoop Summit. He's always been very talented. So I got a lot of respect for him. We both have a lot of respect for each other, a lot of mutual respect. So he's doing his thing in Denver. They made that team for him, and they all rally around him. So he's definitely a tough guard because he could do a lot of things,
According to one of the greatest scorers in NBA history, Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic is ridiculous and unguardable.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. Yeah, I felt like all of those shots felt like they was easy shots, and he just played a game at a pace that you can't speed him up, fluster him. He's strong. He can make every shot. I mean, I hate when he makes shots because he's so unorthodox, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a miss, and then it goes straight in. He's incredible.
Draymond Green couldn't help but agree on how ridiculous Jokic is on the court. According to him, he is by far one of the smartest players in the league.
You're not locking down a great player. He's the MVP of the NBA for a reason. And, he's possibly the MVP of the NBA again. We don't know yet, but for a reason. He's an incredible, incredible player.
LeBron James even goes as far as to call Nikola Jokic the master of court mapping.
I mean, I saw a stat on Jokic last year, and I don't know the exact number, But in the finals, in the finals versus Miami, he shot like 70% from the free throw line in. Like catching the ball at the free throw line, either this or floaters when he catches in the pocket, like 74%. That's insane.
According to Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas, Jokic is the most smartest big man in NBA history.
He might be one of the smartest big men to ever play because
define that.
Because he has an answer to every problem that you throw at him.
Another Hall of Famer, Jerry West, describes how smart he is when he said,
"If you watch him around the basket, he absolutely will shoot the ball, touch it, and catch it on the other side before these guys move."
Mm-hmm.
That tells you how good he really is.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an incredible instinct.
For what it's worth, everyone in the NBA agrees that Nikola Jokic is a great player and a generational talent.
Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world right now. If you don't believe that, I will respectfully disagree with you. There's no shade. There's no hate. You're allowed to disagree with that statement. So far in the playoffs, think about this. Game 4 against the Phoenix Suns. They lose. Denver loses. Jokic has 53 and 11. And a lot of that was one-on-one. They make a little bit of an adjustment where they're just like, we're going to go back to having Jokic high, having him hit cutters, having him play DHO action.
For me personally, it's an honor and a privilege to watch him play every single night. You don't just walk out of bed and get triple doubles. And the thing I like about his triple doubles too, it ain't like 11, 11, and 10.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he is really putting in the numbers, and he's a great kid.
He even had John Collins admitting that he wishes to model his game after him.
One of my favorite players to watch is Jokic because of how patient he is, and that's more so not to say I want to be a Jokic, but I want to play with that patience, and that's what I want my game to sort of feel like, and have that vibe, that patience, that understanding, seeing things before it happens, reading the game at a high level.
However, in all of these comparisons to other bigs like Shaq, Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Wilt Chamberlain, is he the best center of all time?
We're putting him over the likes of Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, and it's just like Wilt Chamberlain's. Like that's a tough conversation to have because we've seen what these guys have done. We've seen how their careers have panned out. So can we sit here and say right now, today, that Jokic, not only the best big to ever play, but the best basketball player to ever touch a ball?
In any case, one thing we can all agree on, even if many don't believe he's the best center of all time, is that almost all NBA players and ex-players have nothing but respect for the Serbian center. And with a talent like his, he will undoubtedly end his career as one of the greatest NBA players ever. What do you think about Nikola Jokic? Do you agree that he's the best player in the league? Or do you think he's definitely the best center the NBA has ever seen? Let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, the next video on your screen is worth your time.